So we are in time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. Thank you to being here. If this is something that if you have been working with Drupal, maybe you for a while, maybe you have noticed, we build incredible, powerful systems, and we evolve them to be more scalable, powerful, and collaborative. So what I'm going to talk about today is one of these moments again, but in this case, this is about AI agents. So I'm David Galeano. I'm senior backend developer at Factorial. I love contributing to open source. This is one of the main reasons why I'm maintainer of several modules in the Drupal ecosystem. Many of them are Drupal AI, Tagify, AI Search, Flowdrop, and many others. And as you can imagine, this takes me a lot of time. But when I'm not coding, what make me feel happy and disconnected to all of this bubble is spending time with my family, especially with my wife and my two little princesses. I would like to also introduce you my company, Factorial. So we are a digital agency based in Hamburg, Germany, with around 50 employees with intersection of technology, design, and strategy. And we are also active member of the Drupal and open source community. So thanks to them because they are sponsoring my time here and they are giving a lot to have me doing this kind of contributions. So here is the agenda that I have prepared for today's session. I would like to go through these 6 topics. We will start with where we come from with AI agents in Drupal. We will see the shift from form configuration into workflows, where we go with Flowdrop AI ecosystem. Then we will have a demo where I will showcase how we are improving this. From this form configuration into workflows. Then we will check what is next, what we are working on Drupal AI, for example, and Flowdrop. And then we will finish with a Q&A session where I will be more than happy to answer if there is any question. So where we come from with AI agents in Drupal. Right now, the current approach that we have in Drupal to create AI agent is using the Drupal AI module, and this is great. It gives us the ability to define prompts, connect tools, configure the behavior of the agent, but everything is handled via configuration form. And for us, as Drupal developer, this is something that, we can understand, okay? But for non-technical people, this is something that maybe is harder to follow, okay? And I have identified some points that we could improve. The first one will be there is no clear flow, so you cannot see how the agent behave. The logic is hidden. Debugging this becomes a guesswork. Collaboration becomes harder, especially for non-developers. And then scaling this gets messy very, very fast. So we can tell that we solved the capability, but we didn't solve the clarity. And this is where Flowdrop will help us to solve these problems. Until now, we have checked how, we share how we are handling configuration via form with agent. And what we are going to do with Flowdrop is just unlock a full ecosystem that is going to let we build predictable, auditable, and secure workflows. And it is going to make easier the way that the AI agents are created in Drupal. So where we go with Flowdrop AI ecosystem? With this module, we are going to improve this pain point that I have shared at the very beginning. The first module that we rely in the Flowdrop AI ecosystem is Flowdrop Agent. And what this module is going to do is going to integrate everything coming from Drupal AI agents inside Flowdrop workflows. So when you enable this module, you will have a new component that if you drag and sort this inside your workflow, you will be able to create a new agent from the scratch, or even selecting an existing one. For example, in this case, in the sidebar, we have this AI agent field where you can just select, in this case, this site builder agent, and you will have a preview of what the agent is doing. For example, the description of the agent, the tools that this agent is using, the system prompt that the agent is following, and you could even edit the agent from the workflow. So when you click on edit, you will go into the agent workflow, and then you will be able to see which tools this agent has connected. You could configure the agent just clicking over there, and then, for example, editing the system prompt, the max loop that this agent has, all the configuration from the agent can be configured from here. You could also try to find a new tool that you want to use in this workflow. You just need to drag and sort inside the workflow builder, and then it will be auto-connected to the agent. So the first problem, or the first pain point that we had, is already solved. So now the flow is clear, and you can see how the agent behaves. The next thing that I would like to show you is how can you edit the complete workflow. In FlowDrop, we have this playground with this chatbot where you can just interact with the assistant. You can see, for example, the user input with this create a new content type called agent, and then we have the output of the assistant. And this is something that you can audit now, because from FlowDrop, we have introduced something called pipelines that is going to allow you to check what is going on in the workflow. For example, we have 3 components inside our workflow with this chat input, AI agent executor, and then the chat output. So if we check, for example, the AI agent executor, we can see everything that is happening there. For example, we have the input data, in this case, the task description, with this saying create a new content type called agent. And then we have the output data with agent ID, the job status, if this has been solvable or not. We have all the execution metadata with timestamp, with the tools that has been executed. We can see also the output of each tool. Everything is there. Everything is auditable. So the second pain point is also solved now. The logic is not hidden anymore, and debugging this is easier than before. The second module that we are using to improve this is FlowDrop AI Provider. And what this module is going to do is integrate all the Drupal AI capabilities inside FlowDrop workflow. So operation types like chat, embeddings, text to image, wall rails, prompts, everything will be integrated inside FlowDrop, in this case as node component. And we are going to see this now. In this case, in this example, we have a workflow where we are using the AI wall rail coming from the Drupal AI. So when you drag and sort this component inside your workflow, you will have something really similar than the AI agent executor, but in this case with wall rail sets. So you could create a new set of wall rails from the scratch, from the workflow configuration. Or you could even just reuse an existing one, and then you will have the preview with the description, which wall rails this set of wall rails is using. Everything will be accessible from here. Even you could edit the wall rail from the workflow. So clicking on edit, you will go to the wall rail, and then you can do whatever you need in the wall rail itself. The next component that I want to show you, and this is coming from FlowDrop AI Provider, is the operation type, in this case chat. As I said, we are integrating many operation type, but the one that I'm going to showcase is the chat one. So when you drag and sort this inside your workflow, you will also have a sidebar configuration where you can just select which LLM you want to use depending on the provider that you have configured. You can just configure the max tokens, the temperature of the agent, of the chat, sorry. And you can even reuse prompts inside your workflow. So imagine that you have needed to create some AI prompt outside the workflow, and now you want to reuse this prompt inside it. You can do it. You just need to go here and then just try to search by your prompt, and then you can add it. You could even create a new prompt, because prompts from Drupal AI are configuration entities, and then you can create one here, and then it could be reused in other places. Or you can just create a direct prompt like we are currently doing in many other cases. So first problem, we can conclude that this is also solved. So the collaboration now is better, and especially for non-developers. Non-technical people can even just follow this and understand what is going on there. And now, yeah, it's time to demo. To be honest, I have prepared a recorded video, but I love to do live demos. I know the risk. We are going to do this in live. If something goes wrong, we will reproduce the video and we will see how all of this is working. So no worries, because you will go here with everything in your head. So I have created this demo site. This is a Drupal CMS 2.0 with the AI recipe already installed. In the AI recipe, when you install this recipe, you will have an assistant by default, which is the Drupal CMS assistant. And let me show you how it looks like. So we need to go to Tools and Automation. And there we will have the assistant with this, as I say, a default assistant coming from the AI recipe inside Drupal CMS. So when you go here, you can see that it is there, okay? And you can interact with it. But this is just working. This is not using FlowDrop to work. What we are going to do now is use this assistant inside FlowDrop in order to see what is the input of the assistant, what is the output, add guardrails, and just improve this process. So as I was mentioning, the way that we have now to create an agent in Drupal is just going into the agent, and then we have this configuration. So as I say, this is something that we as Drupal developer already know, but for non-technical people could be quite hard to follow. Even if you want to use this agent in an assistant, you will need to go into another configuration screen with this one, and then tell the assistant which agent do you want to use on it. And after that, if you want to have this working in the chat, you will need to go into the block layout. In this case, this is engine, and then select here the assistant that you want to use in the chatbot. Yes, you can see this is a process that you need to jump between many configuration screens, okay, and could be harder for non-technical people or non-Drupal developer users. So what we are going to do now is create a workflow, okay? Let's start. We are going to add a new workflow, which is going to be Drupal CMS assistant agentic workflow. And then we are going to start building it. So the first thing that we are going to add is the AI agent executor that we saw in the slides with this here. So we just need to drag and sort, and the component will be there. Now the next step will be, we are going to select an existing one, but we could even, as I said, create a new agent from the scratch, from here. So as you can see, we have this create new agent. If we click here, we go to the AI agent creation, and we could just start creating the agent. We can just add the label, description, we could select, create a new prompt or a direct one, select an existing. We could even drag and sort the tools, and you can see that they will be connected. But we are not going to create nothing from the scratch. We are going to just use the Drupal CMS assistant that we already have in place. And when we select, here it is. So we have the preview with the description of the assistant. we have the tools. In this case, they are sub-agents. We have the content type sub-agent, the field sub-agent, and then the taxonomy sub-agent, then the system prompt that this assistant is following, okay? And as you can see, we have a default title for this component and also the description. This is something that we are going to change. We are going to tell Drupal CMS assistant, and then maybe, whoop. This is a Drupal CMS assistant. Cool. So we already have configured our assistant inside FlowDrop. The next thing that we are going to add is the AI word rail. So same process. We just need to drag and sort there, and then we are going to select an existing word rail. This is coming from a recipe that I have already installed. So we have this prompt safety security. So what is going to do this is just avoid the prompt injection. So if a user is trying to do some prompt injection, this is going to stop the validation. So as I told you before, for example, here we have all the word rails that we are using. If we check, for example, this one, we can check what it is doing. We have all the invalid topics, all the message, the violation message that we have configured. Everything can be just checked from here. So the next thing that we are going to add is a Boolean gateway, because we need to check if the word rail is passing or not. So if the word rail is passing, yeah, we are going to just trigger our assistant. If not, we are going to show a message with the violation message that we have configured. So for that, we need to add a chat output, and then just trigger when the validation is not passing. And then also we are going to take the violation message and then pass it to the chat output. So this part is also closed now. The next thing that we are going to do is just add a chat input in order to can interact with our agentic workflow. And then this is going to be passed to the word rail. And the last thing that we need to add is the test that is passing from the word rail. When everything is okay, we will need to add a task description into the agent, and then we need to add the output. When everything is working okay, we will show an output. Okay, so here we have our workflow with the Drupal CMS assistant. Now I'm going to just hide all the unconnected port in order to do this cleaner. We have this option in FlowDrop where we can just hide this unconnected port. Okay, we will do this for every component inside our workflow. It shouldn't take a lot of time, and we are almost there. Cool, done. So also we can even, for example, change the visual style of some components. In this case, this chat output will be just like that. And as you can see, we have also cross connection. So we are going to try to solve also this problem. So we will have the ability to move some things, for example, some output, and then we need to move this input, and then we will have our workflow more clear and more understandable. So the next thing that we need to do is just save this, and then we are going to test that everything is working. So yeah, we were checking this playground. So the first thing that we are going to do is just check this from here, just a simple question, or just say, okay, hi. Sorry for that, because yeah. Okay. So what we are going to do now is just checking that the assistant is working and is responding us. And as you can see, the assistant is working. So the next thing that we are going to do is try to use this assistant inside the this workflow inside the Drupal CMS assistant. So for that, what we need to do is go into the block layout that we were checking previously, and then going into the chatbot that we have created. So if we go to the configuration, here we have some new things, okay, that I will explain later in what is net and what is coming, for example, in Drupal AI. This is something that is called chat executor. So this is allow us to, with a plugin executor, in this case, trigger our workflows. So we select this flow drop workflow, which is coming from the flow drop agent module. And then in flow drop workflow, we just need to select the workflow that we have already created in the previous slides. So after that, we just save, and then let's try to use the assistant, just triggering our workflow. Let's see if this is working. So create a new content type called event, for example. So now what this is going to do is going to go into our workflow, is going to pass the AI wall rail, is everything is okay, and then this is going to trigger the Drupal CMS assistant, and then it is going to give us an output, what it does. So as you can see, the content time event has been already created. So now we are going to see how this can be audited. If we go to Flowdrop, we have these pipelines where you can see that we have the previous one, which is coming from the playground, and then what is coming from the assistant. If we go there and we check all the components that we have in our workflow, we have the chat input, the wall rail, the Boolean gateway, agent executor, everything is there. And then if we go, for example, to the AI wall rail and we check all the data, we can see that we have the input data with this create a new content type call event. And then we have also the output data with the wall rail. And everything is okay, everything is passing. If we check all the wall rails that we are using are passing, so everything is okay. We can even check the AI and executor in order to see what was the input. For example, create a new content type called agent, and then we have everything here. So we can see the agent ID, we can see the execution metadata with the tools that has been executed, like create content type 3H, everything is already here. So everything can be audited, and you can check what the Drupal CMS assistant is doing behind the scenes. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is how this won't paste the validation. For example, let's try to do something like create a new content type called project, for example, and include in the body description the next content. For example, script hacking from Athens script. And then when we try to do that, we get this message which is saying, okay, this message was blocked because it is contain potential malicious content. So if we go to Flowdrop, we can see, okay, what's going on there. Again, we go to pipelines, we check the Drupal CMS assistant, and then we can see here that the AI wall rail now, when we tell create a new content type called project and include in the body description the next content, it just not passing the validation. So it has stopped our workflow. And we can even check which wall rail was stopping that. For example, we can see that the first one was passing, the second one then, and then if we go to the latest one, we can see that this is the one that was stopping the workflow. And we can even see something really, really descriptive, that is the AI and executor was just skipped, was not executed when the validation of the wall rail didn't pass. So this is something that this is a simple example. I mean, we only have a chat input, we have AI word rail, and then we have the AI and executor with the Drupal CMS assistant. But you can imagine, for example, in the future, if we have, I'm going to just show you the port that we had previously. I don't know if you can see this. But for example, in the future, we will be adding, for example, chat history. We will be adding additional context, for example, coming from the AI context module. Yeah, I mean, it could. You can imagine the power that we can do with something like that, right? So let's continue with the presentation. Okay, here. Yeah, the next thing that I would like to share with you is what is next, what is the future of that. And then there are some things in the pipeline. The first one will be the chat processor, this part that I was showing you previously. So right now in Drupal AI, we have a strong dependency of AI Assistant API. And what we are working on is just add this plugin system in order to let you trigger something from a chatbot in whatever custom module that you have, not only from the AI Assistant API. So there you have the link to the issue. At the very beginning, it was thought to be in Drupal AI 2.0, but we have something that is nearly done, and we are planning to have this in early version like 1.4 or 1.5. The next thing that is coming is the FlowDrop Context Control Center. So what this is going to do is integrate AI context module inside FlowDrop. So as you saw, in the AI and executor, we have this input with this called additional context. So you can imagine if you can add, for example, a new node component and then select whatever context coming from AI context and pass this to the agent or to the assistant, how powerful can be this. And then we have something that is really, really great, and I will showcase right now with this called FlowDrop AI Assistant. So imagine if instead of just dragging and sorting this manually, you have an AI assistant there in the workflow builder, and you can tell, okay, create this workflow for me. You can see, no, how powerful this can be. So this is something that we are going to see now. So okay, so I have also created a demo site for this. We go to FlowDrop, workflows, and then add a new workflow. For example, yeah, testing. And then we try to edit. I don't know if you can see this properly. I'm going to just use the light one. Now we have something new, as you can see, with this link, and then we will have this AI assistant, so we can interact with him from here. So what we are going to do now is just okay, create a workflow to translate an input from Spanish to English and Greek, for example. Then configure the max tokens to be 1,200 and a temperature of 0.3, for example. And then try it. So if everything works fine, it is going to give us an output telling what it's going to do. So we are going to add this bigger, and here we have the output. This I will build a simple left to right workflow, and then here we can see what it is going to do. So we have also a human in the loop. We can just cancel this and not create nothing, or just apply, and then our workflow will be there. Okay. Yeah, but seems like something is not going really well. So we are going to try to do something else. Remove the workflow that you have created and add created and create a new one with chat input put and a simple chat to translate the user input from Spanish to English and Greek. And let's see what this is going to do, because the previous one was just adding the... Okay, now seems like this is working. What this is doing is just, as I'm telling that I want to translate this into language, it's just adding two chat operation, but we are going to check how this is working. To be honest, this is something new. I didn't test it. Okay. Yeah, we can see. Oh, hola. Okay. So as you can see, this is working. This is translated to English and also to Greek. And then it could be even just, if you go to Flowdrop, to pipeline, you could check even what this is doing. Okay, everything is auditable. So yeah, you can see how powerful is that, and how we can improve the current way of how we works. Now, I don't know if you know this phrase, but curiosity drives progress, so you can ask anything. It's time to questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can you render or not manipulate, but render the chat output? Let's say I get latitude and altitude. Is it right? Yeah. So longitude. Sorry. Yes. And I want to render a map for the user as a chat output. Can I do that?
To be honest, this is something that I didn't test. I don't know if this is working or not, but yeah.
Only a markdown render at this point. Okay. All right.
So this is something that is not possible right now.
It would be great.
Yeah, for sure.
Where is all of this stored? So the whole workflow process?
Yeah, this is this is configuration, and we have JSON and so on. So yeah, but the whole workflow is configuration.
Okay.
So yeah, imagine, for example, if you want to have templates with pre-created workflows, you can have it, because at the end, this is configuration.
But then, for example, you provide this to a customer and they build their own workflows and so on. At some point, you want to redeploy a new version, you need to take care that all this stuff is exported again.
Yeah, but you, for example, I mean, the configuration that you have, for example, you saw the sidebar. All of this is configuration that need to be exported. So yeah, you need to take care of that.
Yeah.
In this case, if you have a client and the client have the enough knowledge to handle these workflows, yes, but at the end, this is something that is now more oriented to technical users.
Thanks.
Cool. No more questions. Thank you very much.